Anthropologist Ethan Powell was reported missing in October 1994. Lost for nearly 2 years. They said he walked among them, part of the animal group. He killed 2 Rwandan park rangers with a wooden club.
He lives with the animals. Takes on their behavior. Becomes one. How does that happen?
These sessions can be your opportunity. Your father may be very ill.
Really? I thought maybe he was just in a bad mood.
Powell is a dangerous psychotic.
What are you up to? Therapy?
Are you a murderer?
Oh, yeah.
Why does this all end in murder?
There were many murders.
He was teaching me.
It's like a pretty tough class.
Congratulations.
She still wants her father. What do you say to her?
Goodbye. Never had control. You only thought you had it. You're no mystery to me, boy. Nice to meet you.
I don't believe I can come back to this world the way I am.
What's it all worth? What's it all worth, Ethan, if you don't come back? Are you afraid to go back there?
You're afraid to fall?
Try me.
So the story is that you have a guy who has been nearly gone off the map for 2 years in Africa. This doctor, Ethan Powell, played by Anthony Hopkins, who's caught committing a crime and is subsequently imprisoned in the Florida mental institution, where you have this aspiring psychiatrist, played by Cuba Gooding Jr., taking on his most important case. Dr. Powell, who's been living with a group of gorillas during all that time, is not taken at all and seems to be living in a dream world, and very slowly the doctor manages to reach Ethan and starts finding out why he killed 2 of the poachers that he killed. And yet Theo's case is not just about why the murders have happened, but also about how Dr. Powell became the being he is in the first place. With Ethan's silence broken, he's introduced into a world beyond common human comprehension, the true nature of being. He learns that mankind's control of everything is a mere illusion, and the true value of existence can be found so easily. And basically you have a mix here of both Hannibal Lecter from The Silence of the Lambs mixed in with a little bit of Gorillas in the Mist, maybe a little bit of Congo here and there, but it's an idea that isn't really all that inventive or exciting. This is actually based off of a novel, loosely inspired by a novel called Ishmael by Daniel Quinn, and it actually had that working title until they eventually changed it to Instinct, which I don't know, maybe to sell it better, but at the same time, though, it doesn't really help that the movie is not really all that exciting. Like I said, it's pretty much just The Silence of the Lambs mixed with Gorillas in the Mist. Anthony Hopkins and Cuba Gooding Jr. are giving it their all, but at the same time, though, there's not really a whole lot there to really make this unique or stand out in any way, shape, or form. It's got a solid cast, though. Donald Sutherland, George DeZandra, Maura Tierney, Rex Lynn, Vern Troyer in the movie that he started before he eventually broke out the next week with Austin Powers, but John Aston's also in here as well, so it has a notable cast to it, but at the same time, there really isn't a whole lot there that makes this worth it in the end. I mean, it's a film that, you know, it has great actors all around you, but if you don't have a good enough script to really make it work, it feels really kind of pointless once it's all said and done. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's a film I never really got into when I saw it when I was little. I watched it again recently, and I still didn't understand what the hell was going on with it. I don't know what the hell they were trying to do with it. I think they were just trying to get behind the fact that they got 2 Oscar winners in the title roles. Not the title roles, the leading roles. Anthony Hopkins and Cuba Gooding Jr., and just let them work their magic. And they can't really work their magic if you don't have a good enough script to work with here. But, I mean, they're fine in the movie, but there's nothing about this movie that really is that unique or exciting. The twist in here is not really all that engaging either. I mean, there's really not a whole lot in the psychological thriller that works very well here. And this is directed by John Turteltaub. John Turteltaub, we've talked about a lot of his movies. The film he did previously was Phenomenon. Then he did While You Were Sleeping, Cool Runnings, Three Ninjas. So he's got a wider range of different genres here. And I guess this was kind of his attempt to see what he could do with a psychological thriller, since he had never done this up to this point. But the end result was not as spectacular as they think they wanted it to. This film kind of came and went. It was a box office bomb, $60 million budget, only made $34 million of it back, so it doesn't really have that much of a lasting legacy to it, and quite honestly, once you watch it, you can probably see why. It's not really that much of an engaging film. It's kind of boring at times, and yeah, the performances are fine enough, but there's nothing really there to make me want to keep watching it after more than once after I've watched it, but it's just not worth it in the end. It's one of those movies that just kind of came and went, and for good probable reasons. So that is Instinct.
Years ago, a battle was fought, and an empire was destroyed. Now, the saga will continue.
You were expecting someone else?
If you see only one movie this summer, see Star Wars. But if you see two movies, see Austin Powers.
That's right, Mr. Bigglesworth. We're back. Oh, behave.
The Spy Who Shagged Me.
No, Mr. Bigglesworth. No, bad catch. Dr. Evil does not like to be pee-peed on.
I mean, one of the great teaser trailers right there. You think you're seeing another trailer for the new Star Wars movie, and no, it's completely different. It's an Austin Powers movie, and I love how the trailer even tells you, if you see one movie this summer, go see Star Wars first, then go see this one if you're going to see two movies, even though I think I'd rather see this one than Star Wars, but that's a whole other thing altogether. But Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me is, of course, the sequel to the breakout hit Austin Powers International Man of Mystery from 2 years prior, and of course, in this film, you have Mike Myers as both Austin Powers and Dr. Evil, and in this one, Dr. Evil returns again from cryostasis to strike at Powers from the past, using a time machine to remove Powers' charisma, aka his mojo, and deprive him of whatever qualities make him an effective secret agent so he can no longer interfere with Evil's plans. And needless to say, this was a massive, massive hit. The first film was was a hit, but it wasn't like a big cult hit when it came out, box office wise, but it did go on to have this cult following after it came out. And this film not only made more than that film did, but it literally did it on the first weekend it came out. I mean, it literally made more than what the first movie made in its entire run just on the first weekend alone. That's how big this movie was. Over $300 million worldwide at the box office. It was a massive hit financially. Critically, it's kind of the same, but like, how do I really describe this one? Because as much as I like this film, it definitely has a lot more flaws to it than the first film did. The first film kind of knew the right idea of what it was trying to do, and it worked for the most part here. Here, they kind of it kind of starts off on the wrong foot, because it starts off with Vanessa returning from the first film, and it turns out she was a fembot all along, and then she ends up getting self-destructed, and then it's like Austin never really, and it's like Austin is single again, and it's like nothing even happened from the first film. I remember when I went to see this movie in theaters, and we got in there just as the fembot was about to explode, and we had no idea what the hell was going on, and this was I was a 10-year-old kid when I saw this movie in theaters for the first time. I had no idea what the hell was going on there, but it just, now that I look at it nowadays, it seems like kind of a weird way to transfer out to the next, I guess, Austin Powers girl and Heather Graham from Boogie Nights, but it just feels weird to do that. Like, why would you even bring Elizabeth Hurley back in here, even though you're going to have a new leading female for this movie? And if you see Austin Powers and Goldmember, they don't even mention Heather Graham's character in that film. They don't even do anything with her. So what made it so special to make Elizabeth Hurley come back for this, just to get killed off in the end? It's like it's kind of like what Bill Murray did with the 2016 Ghostbusters movie. He always talked about how if they ever did a Ghostbusters 3, the only way he'd come back is if they kill him off in the process. And in Ghostbusters 2016, he's in there, but he gets killed off pretty quickly. So what's the point of having him except for fan service? But yeah, there's a lot of those little flaws throughout the course of the film overall, but the film still is very fun. I mean, there still is a lot of good, funny moments here and there. There's definitely more of a sense of a more gross-out humor in this film than the last film. I mean, this one has literally a guy called Fat Bastard, and one of the things he does all the time is, like, farts like crazy, and, like, you can see, like, all the crumbs he has all over his stomach throughout the course of the movie, and, like, yeah, it's a little much, but never to the point where it gets completely annoying or completely too out of hand, and overall, I thought the movie was pretty good. Like, I don't think it does anything unique or different compared to what the first film did, but it's still more of the fun stuff that we got from the first film. The few elements that are upped in this movie is the addition of someone like Vern Troyer as Mini-Me, who has a lot of good, silly, funny moments in the film. I mean, he has a lot of charisma there, and I think he does play the role pretty well here. And how many times can I say "and" in this? But I'm trying to think of what else I could say about this film that hasn't already been said already, but, for the most part, I laughed more than I was like, nah, this isn't working for me. Like, on terms of, like, the percentages, it was probably more like, maybe 60-40%, 60% of the jokes I was really laughing at, 40% not so much. So with the first film, it was kind of like 70-30, like, so it's a little bit down from before, but it still has enough there that I would say that it does definitely deliver what it promises. I mean, there are good things about the film. It's a fun movie. It's not a bad film per se, and this is the type of movie that probably would fit well for a summer blockbuster comedy. I mean, you go there, you got your popcorn, you got your drink, you want to sit in the theater for a couple of hours and get a good laugh, some good laughs. You do get a lot of good laughs in this particular film, and it is a ton of fun to watch. It is a really funny film. It's a really enjoyable film. Would I say it's the best of the series? No, I'd probably still say Austin Powers, the first one, is still the best of the three. But this one's not bad per se. It's a fun movie. Definitely a little bit of a step down from the first film, but still a ton of fun. I do recommend it. If you like the first film, you'll really get a good kick out of this film. That's my thoughts on Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. I mean, that's pretty much a perfect sum of what the movie is. Great Phil Collins music, really stylized animation, really good blending of 2D and 3D animation together. I mean, what more do you have to say about this one? You basically have a film that is basically, the story is pretty much your typical origin story for Tarzan. It's about the life of Tarzan. Tarzan was a small orphan who was raised by an ape named Kala, played by Glenn Close, since he was a child. He believes that this was his family, but on an expedition, Jane Porter, played by Minnie Driver, is rescued by Tarzan, played by Tony Goldwyn, and then he finds out he's human. Now Tarzan must make the decision as to which family he should belong to. And I gotta say, it took me a long, long time to finally see this movie in full. Of all the Disney animated movies that I got to see, I didn't see this one until The Legend of Tarzan came out in 2016. I mean, that was how long ago my first experience with this movie was. This one took me the longest time to get to, mostly because when it first came out, I wasn't really all that interested in the concept. I was 10 years old, and I was looking at it, it was just kind of like, it wasn't for me. And it was a Disney movie, too, but it was the one I was kind of like, I really wasn't that into it for a long time, so I didn't really want to go see it. But as time went on and everyone kept praising it over the years, I've been trying to find a way to watch this movie, so I finally did. And I gotta say, this kind of exceeded a lot of my expectations that I could have ever thought of. For one thing, like I said, the animation's top-notch. The most amazing aspect of this movie is that this is 1999, and the way they blend 2D and 3D animation to create the swinging scenes in this, they're absolutely phenomenal, and they're way ahead of their time. And it's a shame that we can't have more 2D animated films like this anymore, but sadly we are in a 3D animated time period now. But even then, people are getting tired of that for no reasons that are beyond me. But the animation here is just great to see. You have great voice acting all around. As I mentioned, Tony Goldwyn as Tarzan, Minnie Driver as Jane, Glenn Close and Lance Henriksen as Tarzan's 8 parents, Nigel Hawthorne as Jane's father, Rosie O'Donnell as Turk, Wayne Knight as Tantor, Brian Blessed as the villain in here, Clayton. It's a really good, really solid cast all the way through, and like I said, it's your typical origin story, but it's a story that just thrives on being animated, and once again, it's a well-written story. The music overall is very good. Mark Mancina does the score for this. He's known for doing stuff for, he arranged the songs to The Lion King, but he's done the scores for such films as Speed, Bad Boys, Con Air, Twister. He really delivers a powerful score here, but the one thing everyone takes away from it is the soundtrack by Phil Collins, and really, quite honestly, this is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in my life. This is a soundtrack that just has so many great songs on it. I mean, You'll Be in My Heart, classic song. I mean, it's the one time Phil Collins could get away with this, as when he did the second time with another Disney animated film that came out 4 years later. Not so much, but we'll eventually get to Brother Bear when we get to 2003. But maybe the biggest flaw of the movie is the villain, and that is Clayton, played by Brian Blessed. He's a great voice actor, and he does fit that role very well, but it's his motivation. The biggest problem with the character is that he's basically here to be the stock Disney villain who's only the villain because he's greedy and he wants money. He's basically Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. You took the comedy value out of him and just made him a bland villain. And Disney had a couple of these villains coming around over the next couple of years. Atlantis had a villain that was pretty much the same thing too. He was just evil because he was greedy and wanted money. It was something that they had around this time period. But you know what? I mean, people complain about the twist villains they've had in the last couple of movies here. I'd rather have those than some of the villains they had back then, because those villains in the late 90s, early 2000s were not that memorable, honestly. Most of them weren't, but I mean, it took me almost 16 years to finally see Tarzan for the first time, and I can honestly say it was definitely worth the wait. The last great animated movie that most people associate with the Disney Renaissance in the 90s, before they had that little bit of a slump in the 2000s. Amazing animation, great voice acting, solid story, amazing music. It's the definitive modern-day adaptation of one of the most legendary action heroes in literature history. I mean, this is the best Tarzan movie. I think Legend of Tarzan, the 2016 one, is probably the best live-action one we've ever had, but that's really not saying a whole lot, because there's been a lot of adaptations, and most of them have not been that great. But this really is the definitive Tarzan film. I mean, this is the one that I think everybody should see. If you haven't seen it by this point, you should definitely go out and check it out, because it's definitely well worth your time. So that's Tarzan. Let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is John Travolta in The General's Daughter.
Why was she murdered?
Sometimes the only thing more disturbing than the crime
The General's Daughter.
is the truth.
There's enough evidence here to ruin the lives of everyone involved, including the General.
John Travolta, Madeline Stowe,
Did you play together?
Did you love her so much that you murdered her?
the most anticipated thriller of the summer.
You better start thinking about your career. You better start thinking about yours.
The General's Daughter, rated R, starts Friday, June 18th.
Based off of a popular novel of the same name, you have the naked corpse of a captain, Elizabeth Campbell, daughter of Lieutenant General, fighting Joe Campbell, played by James Cromwell. He's found staked out of the urban warfare range on Fort McCallum, and an Army CID detective and ex-lover Paul Brenner and Sarah Sunhill are called in to investigate. Brenner is played by John Travolta, Sunhill is played by Madeline Stowe. They find themselves wrapped up in a maelstrom of sexual impropriety, good lord, and misguided face-serving. And this is directed by Simon West, and who also did Con Air before this. And it features a pretty solid cast overall. I mean, I mentioned John Travolta, Madeline Stowe, James Cromwell, Timothy Hutton, Clarence Williams III, James Woods. I mean, this is a really good cast overall here, but surprisingly, this is not that great of a film. I mean, I really was looking at this and, like, it was a massive hit when it came out. I guess the book was that popular enough, but I guess what they were trying to do is try to set it up like the Harrison Ford, Jack Ryan movies, Clear and Present Danger, Patriot Games, but those stories were much more intriguing and much more interesting, not just for the fact that they had a great actor in Harrison Ford in the leading role, but there was actually a hook to it. But this, it's kind of a generic mystery, honestly. You don't really get that much investment in it when it's all said and done. And the big twist in there, you could pretty much figure it out right from the get-go what exactly happened. And it just didn't work. I just didn't feel like it worked all the way through for me. And I give him credit for at least trying to do something unique, trying to do something here. But other than that, though, it's just not that engaging. It's not that well made. It's a movie that's really lackluster and has a death scene that's really out of nowhere insane. Like, it's ridiculous how gonzo nuts this gets for no reason whatsoever, and it completely ruins the tone the movie was setting itself up for from the beginning. And I think that's what a lot of people really turned against the film. And honestly, I can't imagine why that would be the case. But maybe that's not what I want to say. I mean, I don't know what I want to say right now. But let me try to rephrase this again. I think that's the point where everyone goes, you know what? Screw this, we're out of here. We can't take this seriously. And I think that's the moment where everybody says, yeah, let's just you completely ruined this by doing that. It's just like, yeah, it just didn't work. The movie itself is not engaging. The mystery is not there. It has scenes that have no purpose of being in this film. It's just a missed opportunity on so many levels because the content is there. The stuff in there that does work very well, but you got all these other things in there that just can't really succumb to something really enjoyable here, and you just can't really find anything of value to it. It's a major missed opportunity. It's a shame because, I mean, it sounds like an idea that could work for an engaging mystery if we didn't have an idea of who it was right from the get-go, and that turns out what it ends up becoming in the end. It's just a major missed opportunity on so many levels, The General's Daughters. So, with that said, on to the last film, Franco Potente in Run Lola Run. So this is the German experimental thriller film, which features Franco Potente, you know, later on from The Bourne Identity. She plays a woman named Lola who needs to obtain 100,000 Deutschmarks. I think I'm pronouncing that right. That's their currency in Germany. In 20 minutes to save the life of her boyfriend, Manny, played by Maurice Bibitru. And even though this film did not get any Oscar consideration, even though it did not receive a ton of, it didn't receive an Academy Award nomination, it was nominated for many other different awards, and it's had a heavy influence on some movies later on down the road. I mean, there's a lot of films that came out after this that took a lot from this, and you see a lot of inspiration from it. I mean, John Bon Jovi was one of the first people who did it with a music video for "It's My Life," but then you see like references to stuff like The Simpsons, in Phineas and Ferb, and American Dad, Pinky and the Brain. I mean, a lot of shows have taken a lot of inspiration from Run Lola Run, and it is because I think it had a massive cult following after it came out in theaters, and you can definitely see why, because it's visually stylish, it's action-packed, it's very tension-filled, has a lot of great performances all around. It's a really solid, entertaining thrill ride, and it really does show why it has had the influence that it's had over 25 years later. It's a really good film. I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it already, but I mean, you probably should see it because of all the inspirations that have come since its release. I mean, it's really worth a watch. I'd highly recommend checking it out. Run Lola Run.
Sonny Koufax had an easy job. You're a toll collector.
Where you going? Want to take me with you?
I did. And led a simple life.
The delivery guy's like your best friend.
Come back later today. I'll end the rest of you.
Okay.
Peace out.
Until the day
You refuse to move on to the next phase of your life.
she wants different things, you know? His girlfriend dumped him for someone else.
I found someone.
This old guy?
He has a 5-year plan.
What is it? Don't die?
Now, to win her back, I gotta
do something big with my life.
He's getting her a little surprise.
Watching him enjoying my son. Our son, I adopted him. Great. Now what? You wear a diaper?
Sonny Koufax is finding out.
Should I have a nightlight?
Nightlight.
Once you adopt a kid,
There you go, all right? You better give that kid back. I'll try to give him back.
you've got to keep him.
Go back to sleep.
I wet my bed.
All right. Nice and dry.
No more wetness.
Talked to you the other day. That one touched the ground. That one touched the ground.
Columbia Pictures presents
We stopped serving breakfast at 10:30.
No! Oh, please. Don't cry. Don't cry. You got a Happy Meal? Can we get a Happy Meal?
What's up in the kitchen to a Happy Meal? Adam Sandler,
It's gonna be fun. You get nervous? Happy Halloween. We got a first timer out here. Do the right thing, buddy. Hang out right here for a second, all right? Hey, you. What?
Big Daddy,
That's it. Okay, yeah, that's good. Trick or treat. Next year, be prepared, moron.
So Big Daddy tells the story of Adam Sandler, this 32-year-old man who gets dumped by his girlfriend for not accepting responsibility and then tries to be responsible by adopting a 5-year-old boy who appears on his doorstep. Basically, if you see the movie, the trailer kind of lies to you to think that he adopted this kid, but in actuality, he just kind of shows up at his home, like a guy just drops him off. I was just like, hey, here's this kid, bye. And then it's just like, he's kind of stuck on what to do here. So the trailer kind of lies to you a little bit here, but this was Adam Sandler's biggest hit at the time, and yet it did not get the best reviews from critics. It actually was nominated for 5 Razzies and won Sandler the Worst Actor category, which pretty much tells you everything you need to know about how legitimate the Razzies are. Like, they say that they cover the worst movies of the year when they clearly do not. I mean, Adam Sandler was winning the Razzie Award in a year where I'm trying to see. Let me see who else actually was nominated in this category, because I got a feeling that he was not the worst actor in that category. Hold on one second. I'm looking at it right here. Kevin Costner for Love of the Game and Message in a Bottle, which Costner was fine in those movies. Kevin Kline in Wild Wild West. Okay, I mean, why isn't Will Smith in there? Arnold Schwarzenegger in End of Days. It was not a good movie, but you at least tell he was trying. And then Robin Williams and Bicentennial Man Jacob the Liar, which that pretty much tells you everything you need to know about the legitimacy of the Razzie Awards. Like, they can't even look at the real worst awards, or worst movies nominated. It was worst movies from that year. They have to pick the ones that they believe to be the worst movies of the year. But I'm getting that's a whole other subject altogether here. But as far as the movie goes, I like it. Fine. I have fond memories of it. It was actually the first movie I saw when they built the movie theater out right around where I lived here. It was the one. It's this one that I went to for about 14 years before eventually the one in the Monroeville Mall opened up. But that was the first movie I ever saw. It was like a discount movie night when the thing opened up because they had older releases. We didn't get to see Big Daddy yet, so we went to go see that on the first time there. And, yeah, like I said, I like the movie. I mean, I think it delivers everything it promises. I think it is funny at times. Adam Sandler is very good in here. You do like the kid in the movie, Dylan and Cole Sprouse, who would later go on to star in The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. The casting overall is really good. Christy Swanson, Jon Stewart, Rob Schneider, Leslie Mann, Alan Covert, Josh Mostel. I mean, there's a good cast involved here. Where the movie kind of falls apart for me is the ending, because we know we got to get to the moment where the liar has to be revealed, and this whole idea of him coming in and having this big court case on whether or not he should have custody of the kid or not. It definitely drags on a lot, and I don't know. To me, the first 2 acts of the film, I think, are the strongest parts of the movie. The third act is where it kind of really falls off, and it just really does not. It just doesn't live up to the same levels that the first 2/3 did. It's a shame because the movie was on its way to be something really special, but it's by the end of the second act, and then that third act happens, and then it's just kind of like. But it never gets to a point where it's like the worst thing ever. It's just kind of like. We've seen this done before over and over again, and there's really not a whole lot that's added to it per se. It's not the worst, but it definitely could have been a whole lot better, especially considering how the first 2 acts went. But But for what it is, I like the film. I think it is a fine film. I think there are more than enough funny moments throughout the course of the film that make it work. And it can be sweet at times. It's a fun film. It's a film that fits the audience that it's intended for. There are funny moments in the film all the way through. Some good one-liners in there. I mean, the trailer had some of the better lines from the film in there, better moments in there. Like when he's asking the guy, "Where's he going?" Manhattan. "Hey, you want to take me with you?" And this guy's just like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And then the Halloween scene where Adam Sandler just goes into this guy's house out of nowhere, and the way that scene plays out in the movie is actually pretty funny. And I mean, there's a lot of that in this movie. It's fun. There's a lot of charming moments in there. If that third act had been a whole lot better, this probably would have been one of the best Adam Sandler films. But as it is, it's a fine film for what it is. It's one I remember with fond memories, and it's a fun movie. I'd like it. If you like Adam Sandler's work from early on, you probably like this as much as I do. So that's Big Daddy. So let's go ahead and move on to the last film we have here, Shiloh 2, Shiloh Season.
Shiloh, the beagle the whole world fell in love with, is back in Shiloh 2.
Shiloh's like a part of my family, and I do anything to make sure he doesn't get hurt.
Judd still thinks the dog is his.
No, sir. Shiloh's mine, and Judd knows it.
Man's got a right to protect his property. Tell your kid I want my dog back. I want you as far away from Judd Trim as you can get.
We had a deal, Shiloh. Why can't you just let it go? No! You're not going after my dog! I'll solve all this fighting.
You can't expect Judd to act in a friendly way. It's not his nature.
Experience the magic of the year's most heartwarming family film.
Do you think a person can ever change? Once they're mean, are they mean forever?
A little kindness can change man and beast.
You're mine, as long as you live. I promise you that.
You'll never forget the courage when a boy risks everything to turn an enemy into a friend. Shiloh 2, now available from Warner Home Video.
It's literally the same movie all over again. It's literally the same plot. You have the young kid from the first movie who rescued Shiloh from his abusive owner. Judd starts threatening to take him back again, and Marty's afraid of losing the best friend he's ever had. Even after Shiloh's keen senses help save Judd's life, he refused to mend his mean-spirited ways, convincing everyone in town he's just too nasty to change. And now on a long, short gamble to keep Shiloh, he sets out to prove that just like a mistreated animal, a man filled with hate can be healed with the power of kindness. And it's the same movie as last time. It's literally the same film as the last film, and it's I don't know. Like, to me, my biggest problem with it is that it's just repeating the same film over and over again. It's just repeating the same film over again. It's just not. It's not like they're doing anything new or different about it. It's just the same movie again. Like, they do put kind of the same plot they did in the first movie, and I think if I remember right, the third film I think is actually the same plot as well. I think. And yeah, the third film is literally the same thing again as well. Like, it's the same film over and over again. The same plot. Like, hey, is the Shiloh's abusive owner comes back. He wants the dog. He wants to kill the dog at one point. It's just like, so what? Like, I don't get it. Like, why is this a trilogy? Like, it's the same film over and over again. Like, they do the same thing over and over again. It's like nothing changes in these films, and like, I just never got them. I thought the first film was fine for what it was, but it contained itself to one film. But this, it's the same thing all over again. Like, just like my thoughts on the film, it's the same thing over and over again. Like, it's literally the same plot, and I just don't get it. And I just don't get why they just couldn't do something different or unique in terms of a story. But nope, we're just going to do the same thing over and over again. And okay, I'll stop with that now. But yeah, bottom line, I'm not a big fan of Shiloh 2, and not a big fan of Saving Shiloh, so when we get to that one in 2006, you can pretty much sum up my thoughts on that one through that one, but, yeah, not much more to say. That is Shiloh 2, Shiloh Season.